The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Sol, you are a pro-life fiddler, aren't you?
That's what I call myself, the pro-life. That's what's on my business card, pro-life fiddler.
So, whereabouts are you living now, dear?
I'm sorry?
Where are you living?
Oh, I live in San Luis Obispo, California. And it's on the central coast of California. And I'm keeping very active.
How?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you a little bit better now. Now you're kind of, before we had a lot of echo or something. You're coming through a little better now, yeah.
I like the concept of you fiddling for pro-life. How did you get started doing that?
Okay, well, when I moved to San Luis Obispo, let me see, 17 years ago, at the beginning of the century, and I started playing just for tips, gratuities, at a couple of places. I'm still doing that. I'm still playing just for tips. And I've always been ever since Roe versus Wade, I've always been felt wanting to be very dedicated in the pro-life cause. And so most of the money I make at that goes toward my mailing and other expenses regarding my pro-life activity. That's my resources and such things. And it's just I feel a calling to, I have a realization of what abortion is, and I feel a calling to do something about it. Since I have the musical talent, I might as well use that to, I'm retired, as you may know. In fact, I'm 80 years old.
Wow.
And I don't feel that age. I think doing God's work is keeping me young. So I'm very, very active and pursuing the cause.
What do you travel when you're doing your gigs, so to speak?
No, actually I don't. Just say no. I'd rather not have to travel. You know, all of my playing is just around the small town of San Luis. It's a small town of about maybe a little over 50,000, and I do my performing at a couple of farmers markets, and also at a barbecue place, Old San Luis Barbecue. I play there regularly.
Oh yeah.
And I do very well, and they just play for tips and recording sets. I sell my CDs, you know, and so I do quit. It's a very good supplement to my Social Security, and has given me extra to pursue the pro-life cause.
Do you travel still by bike?
I get around, and I don't have a car, so I save a lot of money by living without a vehicle.
Oh wow.
People realize how well they could do that, you know, unless your work requires it. But I get around by either either bike or walking or by bus. And it worked out just super. If I wouldn't want to have a car, someone gave it to me. Yes, I just get around like that, and it's working for me very well.
Well, I think that's really great that you're able to do that. And of course, it keeps us healthier, doesn't it? When we... Go ahead. I don't mean to cut you off here.
Oh, no, it's okay. You know, we're called. Yeah, I think that's, you know, all the walking I do and the exercise. And while I'm waiting, yeah, that's interesting. I tell people I get plenty of stretching exercise. What I do is, well, when I'm either waiting for a bus or waiting to cross the street, or I do my stretching exercises, and that's what's keeping me healthy, I think. Also doing God's work is keeping me healthy.
Well, I think that having a positive attitude and being connected to the Lord God is what we need in our life, and you're right, that does keep us healthy.
It absolutely does. It absolutely, you know, I think religion is an important factor in that, in all senses. So, yeah, I go to church. I don't know if I mentioned it to you when you spoke to me last time. I think I did. I'm converted from Judaism. I was originally Jewish, and I did convert to Catholicism.
Oh, yeah.
And the main thing that brought me into it, sure enough, was my feeling of dedication to the pro-life cause. All the Christian religions are very supportive in doing things, but the Catholics are definitely the most active. And since I've embraced it, it's very good for me. I've accepted Jesus as the Savior. In fact, you know, most Jews do. You've probably heard of the Messianic Jews or the Jews for Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, virtually all Jewish people, when they really look into it, and most of them are just in denial, you don't look into it, but when they do, and that's why there are, lately, it's been a great resurgence of the Jews are coming to realize. And there's several organizations. Jews for Jesus is the largest one.
Yes.
And all of them are very much on the pro-life side.
Yay. Cool.
Yeah. So, sure, yeah, I'm happy with my conversion.
Are you with 40 Days for Life, sir?
Very much so. Very much. I'm involved in that. Well, we have it. We have it at the Planned Parenthood here in San Luis Obispo. We get together and pray. We're getting a very good turnout. The director of that is doing an incredibly good job. Katie Collins is her name. She's doing a super good job on keeping several people. It goes for 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Some of the larger cities that go 24 hours a day, but they can't seem to do it here. But we're getting a bigger turnout than ever.
That's good.
And so the 40 days, in fact, the mailing, if you got my latest mailing,
Yes, I did.
the main thing I emphasized in there is trying to encourage more people dedicated to the pro-life cause, not necessarily what's referred to as pro-life, but just people that are supportive to be involved. And it's working. I have you might call it a homespun pro-life ministry that people I've met over the years, maybe in my performing. I
Now 40 Days for Life is during the spring and the fall. We're doing the fall here in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Well, you're doing the fall. Okay. Well, here in St. Louis, they do it twice a year, spring and fall. The only thing is they don't get as big as the larger cities. They have it going for 24 hours a day for 40 days, and here they can't. They manage pretty well to get it from 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening.
Wow.
And so, they're doing 12 hours a day here in St. Louis, which is good for the size of town it is, you might say.
We do 12 hours here too.
Well, you do 12 hours. Oh, good for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to do it at 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock when I did it.
Yeah. And,
No.
I think there's really a lot of significance in that 40 days. For whatever reason, we don't know. 40 is a magic number of scriptures that, like my last mailing pointed out that, in fact, 40 weeks that someone that just recently told me about that, so I added it to my letter for 40 weeks of fetal development. So that 40, the reason it's had unprecedented success, I believe, is because that magic number 40, for whatever reason it is. Whatever reason it's magic.
Yes, it is magic. What is your mission statement for yourself?
To encourage, not necessarily what's known as pro-lifers, but to encourage people that are supportive to become active. And I'm not reading the mission. I do have it written down. I don't have it in front of me now, but I can tell you that it is to encourage more people that are supportive to become active. That is the main thing. And I have a list, in fact, in the mailing I sent you,
Yes.
it's a whole list of ways to become active. I think I got about 12 of them on there. And in my mailing, I put out that very important list on methods of becoming active. If you wanted to read that on the air, you could, I guess. Or maybe make copies of that, what I sent you. And that list, maybe you can make copies of it and some way distribute it.
I can do that.
If you were going to pick one or two of those ways to be active, which one or two would you suggest to do first?
Okay, the one that I do a lot, and I definitely suggest more people should, a few do but not enough, is to get resources from Heritage House. It's called Heritage House. They're the world's biggest distributor of pro-life literature resources, like the fetal models and what they call the precious feet, precious hands, and brochures and everything. To get a supply of that from Heritage House, and to put it in their mailings, put it with your bills even, and leave it at places where it could do some potential good. I think that's the main thing. There's several things on it. Everything on there is important. Both I like to say. Write articles. But I think that would be my first. I think that would rank top with me to distribute there's a tremendous abundance of literature that verifies it really tells everything, and if that could get out,
So, Saul, what do you think of the new government now that they're in? Trump.
Oh, I love Trump. I love him. Hey, he's great. I think this was the greatest thing that's happened in years. Greatest thing that's happened in over 8 years. He's planning on defunding Planned Parenthood, and that's the biggest thing. It's the main reason I love him. But I'm very much on the conservative side, so I praise the Lord for what happened on that last election.
So, what are your thoughts about what's happening nowadays now that more people are becoming more aware of human beings being alive at conception? You know, the younger generation.
Well, the younger generation is coming through very well. Yeah, the younger generation, for the most part, they are. It's going toward the pro-life. We're winning. And the main place we are winning is in the younger generation.
That's right.
They're having a realization of life beginning at conception. There's no question about it. It's been well proven. So the younger generation is, I think, is our biggest thing, and it's working. We're slowly but surely, you could relate it to. I've seen articles that have related abortion to slavery.
Oh boy.
It took a long time for people to come to realize how unhuman it was. It's not going to take nearly as long as it did with slavery, I don't think, for people, hopefully. So I'm keeping positive. I've got a positive attitude.
I think you've made a good point there, and I hadn't thought myself the relationship between the two, but I see by your explaining that the relationship is solid.
Relationship is tremendous. You see, the reason slavery was justified on the basis of them trying to say that black people are not human. Okay? That's how they justified it. They said they're not human. They tried to prove it by pictures and everything. Now they've certainly accepted that they are. The same thing with the unborn. It's taken a long time, but it's working to prove that sure enough, they are as human as can be. Yes, you're right. It's a very, very close comparison. Yeah.
The March for Life. Have you been in one of them?
I've been in several. Every year, at the end of January, the Roe versus Wade
Yeah.
anniversary. There's a very big one up in San Francisco. I think it's the second largest in the nation. The largest is in Washington, of course.
Yeah.
But I go up there and I do set up my exhibit up, rather than most of the time I don't have time to take part in the march itself. We have them here once a year.
Yeah.
It's in the fall. Here in San Luis, they don't get all that many, but they close out the streets. So I have participated in that, and that's one of the things on my list of suggestions on becoming more active is to take part in those marches. Yes.
What do you think this defunding Planned Parenthood that Trump is going to do, hopefully, will come soon?
I don't know how soon it'll happen. I think he asked me how soon. I don't know. It's definitely for definite that he does. He said it. He definitely plans on defunding them. In fact, something rather interesting. I like to listen to Rush Limbaugh.
All right. Rush
You
Limbaugh,
know
right?
you know who Rush Limbaugh is, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, I love to listen to him. He commented, he says that Trump offered, he made a deal with Planned Parenthood. He tried to, okay, he said, you know what? He'll continue to fund it, the Planned Parenthood, if they will stop their abortions. And this was a very good thing to point out, because they did try to claim that their abortions is just a very small percentage of what they do. It's not. It's 90% of their income.
That's right.
They wouldn't accept that offer. They would not just continue doing abortions to continue to get their funding.
Wow.
I think that he was a genius to come up with that, I think. It just really proves, this really shows them up for what they are.
So with your fiddling, you do events around your area to bring awareness of the unborn about human life being precious?
Well, when I play regularly at the farmers markets and at the barbecue place, people come up to me and, I like to wear, the main symbol is the precious feet that's put out by Heritage House.
Oh yeah?
What I do, I wear those on my shoe. What it is, it's little feet, metal that are the exact size of a preborn and 10 weeks old. And people do notice it, especially on your shoes and you're tapping your feet when you're playing. And I've been questioned, what those feet on you? Oh, that's the size of my feet when I was 10 weeks old.
Ah,
Okay, now, you know what I'm referring to, right?
yes, sir.
Feet.
I got one of them.
Oh, okay. So what I'm telling them, I say, you know what? That is the size of my feet, the little feet on my shoes. That's the size that my feet were when I was 10 weeks old. And they say, how come your feet were bigger than that at 10 weeks? You were bigger than that when you were much bigger when you were born.
Oh wow.
Oh, no, what I'm talking about is 10 weeks from when my life began. There it comes to them. So, I've encouraged other people to do the same thing. As far as I know, that and some other things. I only know one person up in San Francisco that has offered to do just that,
Well, my precious is just about up. The interview is just about over.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Well, I want you on my interview. I want to interview you again. How about that?
Well, sure, yeah. Just let me know when, and I'll plan on it. Sure enough.
We appreciate your talking to us today, and we want to offer the fact that we really love what you do, and we hope that you may keep on doing it for many years to come.
Oh, yeah. I'm hanging in for a long time. My doctor says for my age, I'm the healthiest patient he's ever had. So,
Oh, goody.
I'm planning to be around for at least another 20 years.
Ah, mazel tov.
Hopefully abortion will be over long before that.
Same here.
Prayed.
Well, we love you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for the interview.
Have a good one. We love you. God bless.
God bless you, and thank you for the interview. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And this is Patty Hunter saying goodbye. We'll see you next week. Thank you, John Dickmeyer, for
Thank
being
you,
my
Patty.
co-host. Catch you later.